Yeah, and people are texting me, so they should be on there with the text.
Well, I mean, people direct their feed. There's no reason. I mean, I'm switch away from it.
Not like they yeah, they're sure. Okay. Well, I'm just gonna do it there. First of all, recording myself is useful. Um, starting with options just a second. Key to see if anyone else picked up. Just let me get my recording thing set up. Here we go. So, as you can see, the name of this work is called Here's Flying Colossi Riding. And as you know, my name is Igor Krzyzewski, and I'm speaking to you from Toronto. Um, I, first of all, want to acknowledge the fact that this project is currently the last couple of days being at this art fair and having seen a couple different exhibitions and a couple different talks. Um, it's clear to me that the recent upgrade they've made to their system that opens it up to laptops and both PCs and Macs as well as VR equipment has really kicked the doors open in terms of accessibility. And I wanted to congratulate Brendan and his team on that. And then before I get started on the talk that I have planned, I thought that hey Josh, hey,
Good, good.
at least I just dropped you in the room whenever we got to talk and discussion. Um, and I want to start by telling you a bit of a story behind the story behind everybody here. There is a story behind it. Um, like everyone else on their side, they have their own experiences. They both are going through the same thing.
looks incredible.
as a progenitor of it. And I think one of the things that art can do that's really wonderful is we can address these long spans of time.
Why is Leo so quiet?
And I think we can do a bit of a thought experiment here. And we can
Does he know he's so quiet?
we can look at history.
You gotta get closer to him.
Pardon me?
Leo, do you know that your audio is quite quiet?
You have to get
It's louder if you get closer.
Yeah, my audio is doing what it can. Can you hear me from where you're standing?
It's pretty quiet.
I can hear you. It sounds like someone else has their mic on. There's a lot of static right now.
Is this any better? Can you hear me now?
The sound is a little bit better, yeah.
Okay. Ben, can you hear me from where you're standing?
Yes.
Okay. Well, and I mean that's a hopeful sign. Ben, can you hear me? I don't feel. You good? Okay. So, what I was talking about was lineage and ancestry in artwork, and I'm very interested in this quality of artwork to span really long periods of time. I think that is okay. I can hear the crackling of one of the ways that it spans this long period of time for some of my conflicts is that it is very Is one of you standing on the street?
I can hear a siren. I don't know.
Yeah, I can hear the siren really loud.
That's a product of my environment.
Oh, okay. All right.
Is there a way to turn my mic off?
Thanks, Ben. Appreciate it.
No. Is there a way to do that?
I don't know if there is. That's on your computer. But I'm sure you've got it. So,
Okay.
if we look at this through the historic lens, I think we can say that it's very easy to look at history and say when one chapter ends and another chapter begins. But I'd like to pose a bit of a thought experiment with this work, which is, what if this is the end of chapter 1? What if this is a turning point where this process of adoration and veneration becomes a complete process? This is the end of our first chapter. What have we accomplished? What have we done? And I think this is a perfect environment to ask that question in, because in a way, these virtual social environments, they recommend, or rather they represent a kind of latent social space that we've had for thousands of years. We've seen from, experiments with, well, all kinds of experiments, like ones I've been done with to wrap it up just in the next few minutes because my talk is scheduled until 7. Um, what I'm going to close with is I'm going to reiterate again that we're at a point in our art and our technology right now where we can forge meaningful relationships with what we would consider to be the distant past. There's a common saying in anthropology, kind of a refrain that people make that we shouldn't get confused when we look at the past. We shouldn't consider that when we look at people 1,000 years ago or 3,000 years ago that they're like us. We should think of them as being a different kind of person. I saw Mike Tyson being interviewed, I believe by Werner Herzog recently, and he refutes this. He says they've got it wrong. The past was just us in funny clothes. And that's the space that I'd like to create to look at this work in, the lens I'd like to look at it through. I'd like to consider this a work that would be approachable to the historical cemetery, to people 3,000 years ago whose names we will never have, to, if I look over at my bookshelf, to Caligula, to Marcus Aurelius. And I think that that can provide us a narrative to approach this kind of work through. Now, just to wrap up this short talk, and maybe I'll have a chance to return to this later. I might release a recording without any audio issues that we've experienced here, if anyone wants to catch the full talk. But just as we wrap up, I would invite each of you to take a walk around the room and enjoy these pieces on their terms. You might have noticed how much like cloud pieces I've done this tour a few times with different people, and we've had a pretty good time finding animals in clouds and seeing what each of us sees in them. And on that, I'm going to wrap it up for now. Thanks for coming. I appreciate it very much, and I'll hang out here for a few minutes with you before I move on to the next part of the evening. And if anyone has any questions before that, now would be a good time.
Yeah, I got a couple actually.
Okay, sure.
So I was actually curious. I mean, NFTs. I mean, actually, the growing ecosystem is kind of new in a lot of ways, at least sort of as gaining public traction.
Yeah.
I was kind of curious going forward, how you were going to, like, if you wanted to integrate that more into the emerging ecosystem, or if this is just going to be kind of a standalone thing. For instance, if you look at like Murat Pak's work, he has burnable NFTs, and he's kind of trying to create a bit of an ecosystem where those the tokens that his NFTs can be burned for can be exchanged for other artists' artwork. I was just curious if you would want to contribute, like if you'd want to participate in something like that, or if this is kind of just a standalone exhibit.
Well, the short answer is yes. I think that the ecosystem of NFTs is still really developing, and right now the technology is a lot more interesting than a lot of the work I see being presented as NFTs. I haven't seen a lot of artwork that I think I would add value to that's floating around in that ecosystem at this point, or anything that makes me really eager to collaborate.
Right.
At the same time, this is one of the directions we're headed in, and I'm excited to be part of it. This work actually is going to be listed as an NFT sometime in the next few days. At the moment, I'm yet to be really, really impressed with any of the NFT platforms. Right now, they're definitely more oriented towards the technology that can make it happen than they are towards the work that can be shown using that technology and those platforms. So I don't think it's really. I'm not quite ready for it yet, but it certainly will be part of my practice.
Cool. Okay. One just thing to add to that. Is there any element of that you would not participate in? So your work tends, from what I've seen, tends to be like is curing. you almost feel like a random. They have a selection of artists, and you open something that you don't know what you're getting, and it's a randomized process, and you get like a random artist piece of work. Does that have any interest for you, or do you prefer having something that you can, that you can actually have an exhibit around, that you can, that can be selected, that kind of thing?
Well, I don't think of that as being different from a lottery in what they call it in the real world outside of virtual
Right.
space. I think the idea of buying a painting in a box is really exciting, especially
Okay.
if the person you're buying it for vouches for it as good. That would be a wonderful experience. It's
Cool.
one of the
Okay.
only ways to get yourself a gift. So I don't see that as being a special perk about the NFT market or selling on online markets in general. That
Right.
seems pretty much something that exists already.
Right.
Now, regarding this as an NFT, I just wanted to say, right now we're looking at these as 4,000 by 4,000 JPEGs. In fact, the original pieces are about 36,000 pixels to a side. So, if we were to look at these in real space, we can't do that here because it'll crash our game. If we were to look at this in real space, each of these would be, about the same scale as a bungalow. Each one would be about 16 feet tall at magazine quality. Now, comparing that to Beeple's original, we have something that was about 25,000 pixels wide, and I like this poetic connection that I was able to make by playing with scale in that way. Again, thinking of Sennacherib and his lions and his bull colossi. They were terrific, giant pieces, or so he said, and I like to think that I've made a lion colossi version of Sennacherib's work. The way that they're presented in this gallery, we can see that the less baked ones are over by the entrance door, and they actually zigzag across the room. So this would be considered the first piece, and then the second piece would be over here, and so forth. And if anyone is interested in this, there's 20 minutes of footage on YouTube of these pieces morphing into each other. If you look up 12 Years Lion Colossi, you'll see that footage. It's quite mesmerizing. And at this point, I'm going to say thank you all for coming. I appreciate that you made it out. And if anyone has any more questions or comments about this work, the best way to reach me would be at Leo Krakowski on Instagram.com. Hopefully, I'll look forward to hearing from some of you there. Right now, I'm going to head over to the panel discussion that Artgate is hosting. Just let me look down and bring up the room that that's happening in.
At the panel discussion. Feel free to jump in there. Check if you like it by any chance. That would be. Yeah. Hi, Dinesh.
Hi.
Yeah, it's you, Dinesh, right? I'm sure you're live recording. So
Yeah.
go in the.
Of course.
It's very difficult. Yeah, sorry, apologies. It's very difficult to talk. The music. So, okay, my suggestion is, okay, we have this one, the one with the girls, the Adrianas. Can you guys see them? Okay, I'm walking here. So I think the panel can be here.
All right. So the panelists.
Oh.
Yeah. So the panelists align yourselves here, panelists, close to this wall, and then the crowd stay over here.
I,
Yes.
I'm gonna take a guess. I can see you, so I think so.
Yeah, I think that's perfect spot. Graham, Denise, perfect spot. And then if we can get Chris, if you want to stand here, perhaps.
Where? Yeah.
Yep, just beside Graham here.
Where, look.
There we go. And then Jacobo, if you can get in there. Perfect.
Yeah, then I can see the three of them perfectly.
All right, and then you're gonna be the
Moderator.
the host of this panel. Is that correct, Jacobo?
Perfect.
All
It
right.
sounds like great.
I'm just curious.
If you could move a little bit closer, Jacobo, just like around here. There we go.
Yeah, perfect.
Perfect. And then the crowd will all just kind of stay around here so you can all get a good glimpse of everyone. Try to get in nice and close, everybody in the crowd, so that you'll be able to hear them nicely. And then we also do ask if anybody does have something going on in the background, if they can try to go to a room that's quiet. Be mindful that we can hear stuff on your headsets. So if you can try to be quiet, that will be the best experience for us to hear everybody in there. And yeah, so I think looks like we got a decent little crowd coming. I'm sure there will be some more people that trickle in, but I feel like this is a good time to get things kicked off. If you want to take it away, Jack.
Perfect. Yes, perfect. Okay. Well, first of all, good afternoon, good evening, Chris, in London, or whoever is in Europe, and good morning, Asia.
Jacobo, your audio is quite quiet. Are you far away from your laptop?
No. Can you guys hear me now? I'm like I have
Yes.
laptop right under me.
A little better. Closer.
Is it better now?
It's still quiet.
One thing to try that might solve this is go out of our
Oh my
queue real
God.
quick and then come back into this room. Sometimes there's an audio connection issue and it might resolve it 100% by doing that.
Or let me try a microphone.
Also, your mic volume on your computer is going to affect how loud your voice is.
We have to be quiet.
But we're making good time, so that gives people a little bit more of a chance to come in here. This is pretty wild, though. We have Asia, we have North America, we have Europe, all side by side here on this panel. Few different continents coming together for this discussion right now. So this is a historic moment.
All right.
Yeah. What time is it for all three of you?
7 a.m. over here.
So it's 7 a.m. for you, Denise,
Yeah.
in the morning. And Graham?
It's 6 p.m. Well, or 7. Let's just say Toronto. So 7.
7 p.m. And Chris, what time is it for you?
1 o'clock.
Oh my
Morning.
god.
Thanks for. Did you stay up really late to catch this, or did you wake up specifically for it? Yeah, you stayed up late.
If my avatar comes frozen, you know why.
Because you've gone to sleep.
Thanks, Cynthia.
Hello.
Thank you for making an appearance this late at night for us. It's really nice.
Yeah, other people are.
That's very good.
Is Jacobo freeze
really
then?
good crowd. But thank you all for coming out. The panel is just about to start. Jacobo, we have in the black avatar at the end there. He's going to be the host of the panel. He's just getting set. And then we have the three panelists on the wall here, all coming in from different continents. So this is a very international dialogue that's just about to ensue. I can't believe how many people are here. This is great. And I just want to let everybody know that I am recording out of my headset. So if anyone isn't comfortable with that, you can be very quiet, I guess. just coming back in.
Yeah.
Should be any minute now. And where's if some people want to raise their hands and say where they're coming in from, it'd be nice to hear where the crowd is all tuning in from. Feel free. I'm coming from
New York.
Toronto in Canada.
New York number 2.
Arlington, nice.
To New York?
How's the weather in New York?
Kidding.
Cold and rainy.
Yeah.
Little cool.
No,
From
we have-
Montreal, Canada.
I bet it's colder up there.
Yeah, it is.
San Diego. It's nice and sunny here. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sunny where I am too.
Okay.
Arlington, Virginia, and I haven't been outside today, so I have no idea.
That's good. You're staying safe. You're staying at home.
I live virtually.
Vancouver, BC. Here.
Vancouver, nice.
London.
Lots of North America.
Yeah.
Hey, Chase, want to play a little bit of piano until Jacobo's back in action? Oh yeah, sure. Let me turn it back on. We're quite lucky. We have an incredible composer in this crowd, so he's going to keep everyone entertained with a little bit of piano until we get Jacobo
back and ready. He did an incredible performance last night. So
Can you hear the piano? Okay.
And shameless.
We can.
plug, Chase and I are doing a panel tomorrow at 3 p.m. in the
Yes.
LA Bay.
Nice. Looking forward.
I might try and check that out.
Thank you.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna check on Jack. Make sure he's okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for your patience.
Oh, here he is. He's back. He's back. He's back.
Hi, everybody. Sorry, I was screaming with everybody. I was trying a microphone, but it was clear that nobody was hearing me, so I had to reset everything.
That's way better. Right now, way better.
You're loud and clear now.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So, well, first of all, apologies for the delay. I think we're starting a little bit 10 minutes late, but it's technology. So, but we are here. So, well, first of all, Willie, thank you very much. It's a great turnaround. Yeah, I can see a lot of people, and indeed, I was saying earlier, yeah, good evening, good afternoon, and good morning to pretty much the panel, because we have a very global panel today. And yeah, let me do a quick introduction about the panel and about the panelists and about the objective of this discussion. So, first of all, the discussion came about after, especially after, with the discussion that we had with Brendan about one day opening and discussing about like what had happened pretty much after COVID and how people reacted to COVID and the dynamics that happened right after COVID and how our market and the art world adapted to that. When we were discussing with it, we thought like, okay, it might be a good idea to have a panel that is pretty diverse, not necessarily geographically, but we're trying to find really diverse type of groups. So we try to find established galleries or established art people with new entrants or relatively new entrants, because Hashtag has been in the game now 9 years recently, right? So congratulations.
April 12th.
Compared to the Contini family, I mean, they are a more like established way established family in the art world. And thirdly, we thought about bringing a new voice, which comes from the media outlet and publication, which is Denise. Denise is the managing editor of a publication called Kobo Social, which is associated with K11, which is one of the largest, if not the largest, art collection in Asia, and perhaps one of the top 10 in the world. It's a pretty large art collection. So when we thought about it, when the reason why we decided to bring this panel together and being so diverse from 3 different locations, from 3 different experiences, and from different backgrounds, was to present the audience a kind of like a very round perspective of what has happened. And our objective, because when we did the preparation, was to give the audience a perspective. We don't necessarily want to endorse one way or one view or one alternative versus the other one. We want to give the audience different perspectives because we need to realize that the three of them are still in business. So the three of them did adapted in one way or another one to the market today. So we want to present the audience these different perspectives and everybody to draw their own conclusions, right? I mean, so that is actually like the purpose of this panel is to give to motivate that thought process to realize that there's no in when it comes to reacting to difficult times, there's no A or B or C solution. You can try many alternatives, and any of this will work. So yeah, so I will do a quick introduction. So we have Chris Contini from joining us from London, the director of Chris Contini Gallery, a very established gallery, also coming from a well-established family of are dealing collecting. We have Graham joining us from Mexico, which is has that and bear that in mind because that point is quite important. The fact that he's in Mexico, from hashtag Gallery, a relatively young relative to the Contini family, a young gallery, and then overly as I did the introduction, we have Denise. So I want to open the panel and with each panelist presenting their perspective. The first question that I have for the panelists, and perhaps you can give us your perspective, is how you reacted to COVID. What worked and what didn't work? What was your first reactions, your especially towards disruption, and how you adapted your different business models that you approach to overall art? And if you can frame it in that perspective, what worked, what didn't work, and your overall impression. So let me start with Chris, which is you come from a more established angle.
Yeah, thanks for the question. For us, I think like many people would be impressed by.
Sorry, Chris, I think your sound is a little bit lower.
Yes.
If you can talk a bit louder.
I don't know why. I'm talking louder. I don't know why.
Yes, I think that's better. I think it's good enough, right? What? Yeah, I think it's good enough. Yeah.
Better?
Yep.
Yes.
Perfect. Tom said no. So about the COVID has increased a lot with the changing with our job because unfortunately the technology is not good enough. You know, the place I use it not enough because it depends on the internet connection. It depends on many other. So it's much better now. Okay.
Yep.
So our experience anyhow was very good, and we had a great impression with the people, great feedbacks from them, and time by time we are trying to train our clients, our friends, our followers to get involved much more with the gallery events, with the gallery exhibition. That's why we have many ideas. Presence on the platform. It takes time, of course, because we must be. We need a huge coverage for the internet connection. At the moment, I'm speaking from Italy, so we don't have the same coverage as, for example, probably we have in America, where everything started before and where the technology works much better than. One of the most important countries in Europe. Unfortunately, at the moment, the internet doesn't help to extend the people that can use this new way to communicate, to sell, or to share ideas and exhibition like the one we are in at the moment. So we need to see how it goes after the COVID and everything will be sorted out. How can be improved? How can be perform all the technology. That at the moment we are on the beginning, so as
Yes.
like the problem we had before the starting meeting, many of us it's normal for us because in Italy at home here have a good connection, but for example in my office in Milano it's not so good to be trusted for enlarged and to yeah to be more useful sometimes because it takes a lot of problems and easy also to
Chris,
sort it out, like the bugs, like low connection. Anyhow, I think it's the future. So by our side, by Contini Contemporary Gallery, Sandra is here with me. She's there. Probably. Oh, I lost her. Okay. 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 And
so Chris, if
we want to improve our presence on the platform, and if you have ideas, if you have suggestions to be more with you on this problem.
yes,
For
Chris,
new,
I have a question. What was your first reaction? How you responded to COVID?
thanks God, we had a great feedback from our clients. For example, with the first art fair we did together last year during the lockdown, and also with the last exhibition we started with Milano with in the other rooms and in our galleries later. You can see that we try to do also the picture to get with London, or was it still in lockdown, but it was in lockdown even before. It was very complicated for us to take information, to take the picture from our inventory. So the impression, it was good for the chances we have to work with it. So by our side, the COVID was a problem from one side, but it helped us perform much better our way to communicate and to sell art through the web and the social media and all the things around.
Okay, that is interesting, and I want the audience to keep that thought because the point of this discussion is to compare the different reactions. Then I want to ask an intermediate question. I want to ask Denise, from a media perspective, you guys also got affected. Your business is about covering art fairs and covering exhibitions and shows and so on. How was your first reaction? What worked? What didn't work during COVID?
So Kobozoshi is a digital platform. So in that sense, we were not affected on a day-to-day basis. We didn't have to worry about print. We didn't have to worry about distribution and such. But I remember very clearly the moment that Art Basel Hong Kong cancelled, and that for me was the moment that everything else happened. It was the moment that I watched my calendar of 3 months empty out for the first time, and suddenly we were scrambling to fill in what to cover. We didn't know what was going to go on for the rest of the next 3 months yet. And between March and June, as we watched kind of every country go into lockdown and every fair get cancelled, it was an unprecedented time. We had to adapt. And the way I ended up approaching this was thinking, if galleries can't confirm what exhibitions and everyone is in a state of crisis, art fairs can't confirm what as a media do we cover? We go back to talking about the artists. We go back to talking about the artworks. We go back to forming opinions, conversations, and using those conversations as our coverage. So I turned the model away a little bit. We did less news coverage for most of last year. We really tried to see how do we support the artists and the galleries? How do we support the auctions when everything is changing. Um, and I guess life got busier.
Yeah,
Much
and
busier.
that is an interesting remark because I had ample conversations with Denise, given that I mean she's based also in Hong Kong. We actually met last night, uh, and we thought that this is often when people perceive the art market or the art world is always either the artists or the galleries, but they don't necessarily realize how important is the rest of the people, the overall ecosystem. And this is the reason why I asked Dennis to actually join us because I think it's important for all of us to realize that there's more than just galleries and collectors and artists. There's an entire ecosystem that maintains the art market and your perspective I think is pretty important. I think how disruptive it was when suddenly because pretty much COVID kind of like happened overnight that suddenly you have like your 3 or 6 month plan and then suddenly boom everything is gone and I mean, all the anxieties. It's like you need to start rewiring absolutely everything. That's also quite an interesting point to note. And now I want to work I want to ask the same question to Graham. You come more from a new perspective. Your gallery is relatively young. Your demographics in the gallery are a bit younger. Perhaps you have the capacity to be more resilient, which you proved. Probably you might elaborate to that. So how was your reaction to COVID? What worked? What didn't?
Yeah, well, for us, we had everything booked up until around November during when COVID hit. And like she was saying, our whole calendar just emptied out. So I have been using Artgate since the previous fall for Nuit Blanche in Toronto. We had it set up at the physical gallery, and people would come down and put the headsets on and try it out. So we basically the idea was to kind of move online as well as real life, and COVID basically just sped that up a whole lot. So for us, we had the shows that were booked basically all had to we had some rental shows, some just commission based shows. So all the rental fees had to be repaid. All the artists had to be contacted and canceled. Some of them we ended up switching online really quick. Some of them weren't ready for a VR type show, but we just made the best of it, and we contacted a whole bunch of new artists that had stuff ready to go, had new work, and were willing to give it a shot. The downside was that a lot of people don't have VR headsets, so having the laptop version available now, obviously there's a lot bigger crowd. You can see all the hands hanging down. It increases the amount of people that can actually come and see, which is amazing for us. Because our lease was up in September last year, so we just didn't re-sign our lease for the physical space. So now we're entirely in virtual reality. And if you haven't visited the gallery, it's obviously off the main menu. So go check it out. We don't have a set plan of whether we're going to get a new physical space or not. Right now, it makes I came down to Mexico back in January because Toronto is a little bit crazy right now, and I didn't want to be locked inside the house, but with being able to have a headset on, it allows me to do it from anywhere I am. So it's been quite handy. So using that and social media and artsy.net, we've done a combination of those kind of three platforms, and now here we are.
That is important. And first of all, and I want to stress this out that this is your 9th anniversary in very special circumstances, but it's your anniversary nonetheless. So cheers
12th,
for that, especially for the resilience. And I want to go back to Chris on the similar question. So your business is a bit more traditional. Your demographics are a bit or more established type of collectors that are used to brick and mortar. London went through very severe lockdowns. How was your experience with these restrictions? And also how your clientele responded to that?
The restrictions in London are very tough compared to Italy, for example, where we have different places, different partnership where we used to work with even before the COVID trouble. So it's quite complicated in London. Nobody knows exactly if, of course, they're going to open probably before Europe, then France, Germany, and etc. So but about the galleries, about the exhibition, about the shows, I think it takes much longer. So we probably think to reopen physically the gallery after September, beginning of October, with the freeze, with all the appointments with the artists.
very complicated because they're gonna open on June. They say they're gonna open everything on June, but unfortunately, art like theater, like all the artistical jobs, they're considered less important. So in Italy is the same. But in Italy, we made a rule to broken it. So it's different. In London, when they start with a lockdown, it's a real lockdown. So everything will start suddenly, very fast, but not now. So for us, it was too complicated in London. Now we have a beautiful space in Milano, 1,000 square meters in the center of Milano, and we have partnership in Cortina, Rome. So we have many physical spaces where we used to work, and when we're gonna start to work again soon with exhibition. But for London, my opinion is that we're gonna start definitely on the beginning of the winter, more or less, fall winter.
Okay, and I want to keep elaborating on that thought. And this is something that we discussed, the three of us equally with Sandra, who supported us on the preparation. Is let's talk about like how the market reacted to not only the three of you, but how the market overall reacted to COVID. There were a lot of new alternatives. The market tried new alternatives. Art Basel and Frisos experimented with the online viewing rooms. Argate VR also provided an alternative. Other galleries, I saw Massimo De Carlo trying something in virtual reality. Other ones trying something in augmented reality. What are your thoughts about it? Let me start with Graham first. What are your thoughts about like the alternatives the market tried out?
Well, what I was going to say is that you were saying like new technology, but I don't think the online viewing rooms really were new technology, because as far as I'm concerned, it's just a website. They're just using fancy marketing words to make it sound better than it was. But it looked exactly the same as the e-commerce site, but with no e-commerce built in, which I was a little bit disappointed because I was expecting something a little bit more when I heard the buzzwords and all the advertising for it, especially with an art fair like Art Basel or like Art Miami, like that kind of place. With the amount of money that's behind those fairs, I would have expected a lot more given to the audience. They're coming to try and help the galleries, help the artists, help the clientele that are buying the art. And I just found it a very underwhelming experience, and it was very difficult to navigate a lot of them. An alternative like this, where you can actually walk around and go up to the pieces, is a lot more enjoyable. Yeah, I mean that's my take on it. Anyways, I was underwhelmed, I guess, is the word.
Yeah, Dennis, you do a lot of coverage, right? Your business is all about covering these art fairs and these various exhibitions. How was your reaction to these different alternatives?
I mean, pre-COVID, we were attending fairs. I'm used to running off the ground, looking at art, taking in 200-300 artworks in a day. I actually personally never really liked any of the online viewing rooms. I think also as a media that is digital to begin with, it was too taxing for me to then be looking at art all day on a website when I am running a website myself. And I agree with Graham. It was more of a glorified website or a glorified PDF. I actually appreciate the idea of an online viewing room, but I think we are yet to see the full potential of it. We are yet to see an art fair really try to break out of a box of a website and use it to its potential. There was something I heard a while ago. Yes, because we already have, as you said, e-commerce websites. We already have very good developers that can build websites in the course of a day. And many of the major galleries did. Those who can afford it or those who have big teams in-house. Many of the blue chip galleries did do that. They turned around a website, they revamped it within months of COVID hitting. And I think from a user perspective, or maybe from a consumption perspective, I actually appreciate that more than swiping 15 artworks, click back out, go to the next room. I appreciate things that are more visually attractive and that tell me more about the artist than, again, just that same wall. The artwork just changes on your wall. And yet, even if they say it's to scale, from one artwork to the next, it's to scale, it's not to scale to us.
No.
Artgate is quite
That is,
interesting in this way for me because it's my first time really, it's not my first time using virtual reality, but it's my first time looking at artworks against a wall in virtual reality. And it's the
At actual
only
scale.
alternative I've seen. Yes, on actual scale.
Yeah.
And it's really the only alternative I've seen in the last 12, 14, 15 months that starts to give me that sense of that sense of scale again and that experience of being in a space.
The bench they have doesn't do it for you.
Oh,
It's always that
hell
same
no.
bench in the photos on the online viewing rooms.
Yeah. Where am I going to sit? I'm still sitting on my office chair.
I don't know how big that bench
And
is
I mean-
either. It could be anything.
I also
I want to
questioned many
yeah.
times the power of these internet servers. If we are able to be in here all at the same time in virtual reality, which requires a lot of data, a lot of consumption, why is it these fairs they were trying to run? I don't know how it was set up. There were a few times online viewing rooms where I saw they were trying to do art projects and run 24-hour videos, live feeds, and things like that. But rarely was that successful. Whatever glitch they had, it was rarely resolved. But that's my little rant.
No, and I think it's a very
It's
valid
fair,
point.
it's fair.
And I also want to ask Chris, because also Chris comes from established, especially your clientele is very established, is used to like the old methods, if I can call it that way. What are your impressions about, and also given that you're so dependent on fairs, you have been working with fairs for so long, what was your reaction to the fairs approach to COVID?
For the fair was a disaster. It is a disaster because I have a lot of friends who own shareholders of companies running around the art fairs in Italy, in Europe, and in the United States. It's mess. It's a disaster. Nobody knows exactly what's going on after the COVID. So I think, starting by my point of view about the importance of the new technology is not an alternative way to share, but it's a future present. So I think it will be much more important than we expected now for the art market, the way to show and buy art, because as I said before, the COVID is accelerating this process. But probably without the COVID,
Yes.
it takes longer, maybe 10 years, 15 years. With the COVID, everything will happen in about 2-3 years maximum. So this way to buy, to show, to exhibit art, it's gonna change. You will see next year how many people, I'm sure, probably 3-4 times than the people we are now at the moment will be attending for this kind of meetings. So it's something that nobody knows exactly, nobody can control, and it will be much more than all of us expect from now to the next 2-3 years. About my
Yes,
clients, actually, so
Yes.
it depends on us. For as galleries, as dealer, how much they could be approached by this way to see and enjoy art and culture, because we're not only here to sell, but to share art and to tell, becomes a storyteller. So selling is a consequence of it. So it's much of the work around on how customers react to the new technology depends on us.
Yep, because I think we lost Graham for a second, but he will dial in. But I want to keep elaborating on that, because I did find quite interesting that you are, for example, a strong believer on this type of technology. You have approximately about 5 or 6 rooms in ArtGate VR with different expressions. I saw from masters to to younger type of contemporary art. So is it the fact that you have such a wide range in this type of technology, like virtual reality, is that a response to your clientele, or this is something that you are deciding to experiment? You're taking that risk to try new alternatives.
Yeah, it's a new alternative, but try to imagine after the COVID how people we can expect, we can be sure that everybody wants to travel again like before and wants to visit galleries like before. So this new way to spread art and culture, it must be the solution, the only solution for a long time, because from my point of view, from my position, I think that it would take at least 10 years that before things started again to the real normality, not the normality that the media
Yes.
wants to try to tell us, but which I don't believe because it's impossible. I know many of my friends, my clients, my collectors that are totally scared to start traveling again, taking a flight, and with all the consequences. Last year I had a COVID. Thanks God I'm alive, and I took it on a flight from Venice to London. So thanks God I'm still young. For me, the things is over. I try to imagine the classical old collectors who want to start again, traveling, visiting the gallery. Yes, today many of them say, yeah, I can wait for traveling again to fly, blah blah blah. But it's not the real life. I think that most of them are still scared to come back to reality and to normality. So this must be the real way for many of them, and that's why that as gallery, me and my business partner Fulvio and Sandra, that I want to thanks again for the great job she did for gallery. We are planning a different way also for them to come in the real the VR world, which nobody knows before in this way, because also as RGVR you did a great job, especially so quickly, because nothing was created before. So it's a new technology, but a new world, totally new world. And for us was complicated, yes and no, because we come from a computer generation, and games addicted. So we know what we can do with this technology. The real huge step, the big step will be to teach to our clients, to our friends, to our follower how to come inside of it. So everything depends on us.
No, that's a very good point. You actually raised 2 points and which actually is going to venture to my third question, and I'll also open the forum for questions from the audience, and I believe we have also questions online. But I want to follow on the thought. You mentioned 2 points that I found quite remarkable. Like, COVID is disruptive, and that's proof that it's going to be disruptive, and we need to adapt. You mentioned something about time, which I thought it quite interesting. That it's going to take that. It was to take 10 years before. Now it certainly is going to accelerate because people will remain skeptical or cautious about traveling and mobility. And I do see that the market in itself, the market alone, the art expressions in itself try to reinvent itself, especially into the digital world. And we saw the rise of NFTs. And I want to actually finish or finish that before we move to Q&A, to your impressions on these new art developments, on how technology is blending into art expressions. But I want to ask you, because I think we all know about NFTs, and I think probably everybody's tired about NFTs at this time. But I want to ask you from a different perspective. I want to ask both of you from a different perspective. Do you think these technologies, these alternatives, NFTs, virtual reality, OVRs, etc., everything that is coming up into the digital realm, do you think are they sustainable from like a reliability endurance point of view, do you think this technology will be long lasting? For example, do you think we'll have these technologies in one way or another one in the next 5 years? And Denise, I'll start with you.
I think technologies like AR and VR, yes, they have already proven, they already have a track record that they will last. We're already seeing more artists trying to explore virtual reality as a medium to produce art, and that's something I'm really excited to see. We as working the market now, yes, we're looking at virtual reality exhibitions, but I'm talking about artworks that are created for virtual reality. That's going to be super cool. NFTs, not a fan. I don't think it's going to be a long-lasting trend. We are already seeing the prices plummeting for NFT artworks. I think because it's like with what we see before, anything that there's a bubble, the bubble's going to burst. And that bubble grew too big, too fast. Artists, there is potential in NFT, but we need artists to understand the medium in order to push the medium, in order to make NFT artworks per se. Right now, all we're seeing is artworks being adapted into blockchain, or we're seeing headlines, artists trying to seek headlines. So I think unless someone is going to really go down to the back end and understand how blockchain works and look at NFT as a medium, the way that we approach pigments in paint, the way that we approach, the really fundamental groundwork, it won't be a lasting thing. Because how do we justify paying millions of dollars for a JPEG when it's just a transfer of an image? But yeah, a bit early. I would try not to kind of say I will never believe in NFT, but I would like to see some artists really push the medium the way that artists have decided to push VR.
No, and I think it's a very valid point. I think so I'll open the question to the audience, but I believe that the audience overall has read both the positive and negatives of this new alternative. So I think your arguments are very valid. I mean,
if I can say my point of view about NFT.
Yes, absolutely. I was about to
I'm not a big fan like
you.
the needs of NFT because of course I come from, as you said before, from an established family art business. So for me, art is a sculpture. It's something I can touch and I can really enjoy. But I tell you why NFT will survive and will increase the turnover of selling. And I worked for, and still work, but I worked for a long time with the father of the father of the NFT. That was the video art. So video art, if you imagine you 70s, 80s, 90s, even now, we're just buying a TV with a video, sometimes in a loop video, sometimes was a video just made for single player that before the digital experience was the VHS, if you remember. So, but at the time you paid, like you pay today, 100,000, then million of euros or dollars to buy a VHS or a digital device. The father of video art, the Italian, was Fabrizio Plessi, which for a long time with him, he was the artist of Louis Vuitton, and he did for Biennale of Art, 3 Guggenheim, New York, Bilbao. So we are talking about a master of masters. And at that time, it was crazy for someone to buy not a file, because it was not digital, but the VHS or any source of analog media, just to be played on a normal TV screen. The canvas, the new way to make art today is not anymore the canvas, but is the TV. So even now we are watching, talking between me and you and all our friends here, just watching a screen. So this is the new canvas that has to be canvas. So where nobody's painting, touching physically the surfaces, but just spreading and inserting an analog, a digital, sorry, JPEG or MP4 or whatever to make art. So the NFT is the finally how you can say finally media, the finally the source for this kind of new art, which is not new because before was analogical, and now it becomes digital. So everything depends how the blockchain will rule the mark of NFT, because the only problem I see in front of me from the next 6, 8, probably 1 year is how the blockchain will perform and control, ruling much more the market of NFT. But I think, and I'm not a supporter, as I said before, that it will be the future, even in another way to buy and sell art, of course. But it can imagine you can buy the JPEG or the kind of source. You can put it on your TV screen or your computer. You can enjoy wherever you are in any moment your piece of art. So something that was not predictable before, because you just buy your canvas, your sculpture. You can only imagine inside of you like a file that you own these goods, but you can enjoy, you can bring it with you whenever you want. So now, like the photo album on paper before, now you can enjoy and share your family pictures wherever you are. The art will be the same. So you can send to your friends, to your family, or to anybody that a picture of your new work of art that you bought yesterday in probably in an auction or in an NFT platform. So my point of view is that it's much important for us to understand that something is changing. Also for us that we used to sell art in traditional ways.
Absolutely. I think those are very valid points. Those are very valid questions. I think the people need to be critical about it, especially when they are considering investing so substantial amounts of money or bitcoins or how you value money these days. But it's important to be critical, not necessarily about the work and the expression, but also about the medium.
Exactly. The Bitcoin at the beginning, nobody trusted the Bitcoins, but I have friends becomes billionaire with Bitcoins because we're just playing with them and they become millionaires.
So I think these are valid questions, and I think I want to ask the audience. We have, I believe, open the forum for the audience. Anybody has a question about this topic, about these reflections that the panelists are doing? Sure, Darcy.
Yeah, so I'm very encouraged. I'm an artist. I've been using computers to make art for 40 years. And for all that time, I was trying to figure out how to get my images out of the digital realm.
Apologies, someone has like a TV on the background. Do you mind turning that off?
What do you want? Can you please turn off your
Make
music?
the CD lower. They hear
There's a
the
talk
CD.
going on. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Darcy, back to you.
So I've for many years I worked to try and figure out how to take my digital images out of computers into the physical world. And I tried many techniques, and I was a painter, and I was not interested in video. And I exhibited my work all over the world, but there was no market to buy this work, and it's still difficult. However, I'm very encouraged now. For quite a few years, I've been painting in virtual worlds. All my work is still ends up a lot of it on canvas, 2D canvas, to scale, large scale. I print my own work on very large printers. I hope they will come to my gallery exhibit here. I have created 3D virtual worlds with my artwork created in virtual worlds and with AR artwork in the real world as well. I'm really encouraged that maybe now the galleries will not be afraid of digital things done with computers, which was the case up until maybe 5 years ago. Most galleries were not interested. They were afraid of computers. They didn't know how to talk about it. They still don't know how to talk about it. I'm encouraged to hear that at least the people on this panel believe that collectors are now more willing to learn how to buy this work, how to think about this work, how to see this work and appreciate it.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, you're actually good, very good point. I mean, you certainly, especially Chris, and same as Denise, because you approach collectors and artists and everything from different perspectives. What is your feedback, the responses that you get from artists and collectors to technology? Let me start with Denise first, from a media perspective.
I think there's no argument that technology is here to stay, that we are living in a digital era, and we're only going to see more collectors, more artists, the younger generation that is digitally native. They are born into a digital era. So we are in that transition already, if not already arrived in that era. What I see as the hurdle for VR and for us wanting to take the art world into VR will be the technology itself. It's intimidating for many, many people. About three or 4 years ago, we worked with an artist in Hong Kong who actually prints 3D sculptures. He paints, but he also created his paintings in VR and produced essentially a space in VR that you would enter, and that was the artwork. But for us to exhibit that as a gallery, at the time I was working for a commercial gallery, it meant that we had to rent the VR headsets. We took it to an art fair. We had to run it like we were running like a game that people come in and test for 5 minutes. And we received really, really good feedback from the public that tried it. But from a commercial standpoint, it was nearly impossible at the time to sell, because collectors need the VR headset in order to enjoy this artwork. So the biggest obstacle I see is actually educating people and making them comfortable purchasing a headset, using a headset, not seeing technology as something to fear. I mean, if we can adapt to a smartphone and a computer, I think people will eventually adapt to this type of technology, but it will take a bit of time still. And artists will probably be ahead of us and the rest of us on that.
Yeah.
Which makes it hard to make a living selling this kind of work.
Chris, your response to that, you interact when you have your studio visit, your discussion with artists especially, what is their position on technology?
With the artists with the work like Endless, like Bolini, as an Italian street artist, is to start very quickly to use the platform of NFT generally, so Super Rare and all of them. About the NFT market, if you think of what happened last year with the COVID, most of us as a dealer sold art through the email. So there's not so much difference between the way we sold art with digital pictures than selling art on NFT platforms, because anyhow we're talking about a digital image. Yes, the difference is that physically exists when you sell art piece of art in your inventory. But if you think about, if you realize what you're proposing to your clients, there's no differences because anyhow you're selling a digital art, of course. Till the point you sign the piece of art to your clients, but is
So if I may, someone has a background music or a TV. I think it's the person in green. I think you just walk in.
probably
Hey, could you please turn off your music? We're having a talk here.
that is gone.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, Chris.
It's
Yeah.
we're
Doesn't
coming
matter.
across the first trolls in our gay PR.
Yeah.
We knew this
Okay,
day
now
would
let's
come.
start singing, everybody. Put your hands
Yeah.
up. Put your hands. And so, finishing what I said before, there's not difference for me, especially with the experiences made through the last. Everything is digital now. Even the real art became digital before NFT and before all the new way to sell art. So
Yes.
the difference that physically exists, what we used to sell through the digital media, internet, and Instagram or whatever.
Okay, I think we have time for one more question. Does somebody else has a question? To the panel, or anybody wants to elaborate on? Yep, I think is. You want to ask a question? The one, the person in orange, no name tag. I thought you were raising the hand. Okay. Because in that case, I think we are by the hour. Again, I really want to thank Chris Graham that unfortunately had to leave, and then Denise for the panel for their responses. I personally found them very insightful. Again, I hope we reach the objective, which was to present you different perspectives, present you different alternatives, different approaches to COVID.
Well, I guess
we have
ending
another.
with this party now.
Okay. Okay, we have
Thank you.
Congratulations, everyone. Thank you
Right,
for
thank
making this
you.
happen.
Okay.
Really well done.
So yeah, thank you very much, and yeah, do have those thoughts and think about it, and yeah, enjoy the fair.
Congrats. Well done.
Okay.
All right, now
thank
turn
you,
up your
guys.
music. Let's party, bud.
I'm gonna sleep. Good night.
More shameless plug.
See
9
you.
o'clock
Oh,
tomorrow.
this
Me
is
and Chase. We gotta pay
Bye,
our bills
Christian.
tomorrow.
Thank you for coming out. High five.
Hi.
See you all
Christian,
tomorrow.
thank you very much.
Exhibition here?
Was
We
highly
can touch
enjoyable.
each other
I'm
at least
hearing
in
a
a
lot of
virtual reality.
Yeah.
Not COVID here.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, high five.
I want to invite you to
Denise,
come
where
to
are
my
you?
exhibition
Yeah.
here, but also come
Sandra,
to my
hello.
Okay, and a little bit of credit. So I'll be having a second take on my exhibition, the one that you see here. Let's talk about millennials in about 20 minutes. Sam, so Sam, if you can join me because your works are here, and
That would be cool.
so I'm more than happy to
excited to hear that.
either have you
They
around.
have to get
As
better and better every day.
There's a lot of
Earlier,
things
you
that
guys
happen
did.
since, so I want to
working
take
with
do another take
Thank
to
you
this.
for being
Yes.
almost to the whole
Because
ride.
I think
So I'm going to walk out for a little bit. I think I need to charge my headset, and then I'll see you guys in about 20 minutes.
Because I also went to art school, and one thing that
Okay,
I love
perfect.
most
See you in 20
about
minutes.
making art and actually
Jacobo
being an artist
zooming around.
is
Five, well done.
Hey, high five.
getting
That's hilarious.
materials
Like,
and
Thank you very much. I think it was pretty good.
and it
I'm going
worries
to
me
charge
when
my
you
headset
can
because I have to talk in about 20 minutes. So I'm going to give it a little bit of juice.
So,
And I'll see you guys in 20 minutes.
Okay.
Cheers.
I started studying my digital images on ceramics in
Yeah.
the 1980s
Oh,
I'll see you
wow.
there.
and
Yeah.
exhibited
Good.
them. And I still do viscosity etching with my
So,
putting my
Sam, you
digital
have an
images on
artwork
things
here?
plate. And I do my own
She's
printing.
gone.
And I
Oh,
make
you
my
just
own,
Brendan?
you know.
Hey,
Chase.
Brendan.
Hi,
Hey,
Dinesh.
it's the best
Hi.
kind of success.
Hi.
when trolls come in, you know?
Hi.
That's
I
success
know.
right
Are
there.
you from Artscape?
We knew.
Yeah, I'm just
we
doing
knew
the
that
live
this
right
moment
now.
would come, and it's
Yeah.
here.
I think it's funny. It happened earlier.
I
Just
make
totally inappropriate. Like no one knows what to do. 'Cause
I think
it's really
there's a
funny.
group of like young kids that go on
Yeah.
and try all these different games, and so
Right.
like they come in the lobby, they're like, so how's this game work? How do we play
I
it?
think,
And
yeah, for
so
me,
it's just like
I
this
only
new wave of
purchased actually
people
this
that are starting to
headset
find out about it.
India.
All right. Cool. What part?
There we go. Susan.
I'm from Indore, Madhya Pradesh.
Okay.
Susan.
Cool. Yeah, my sister was born in New Delhi,
Oh,
Huh.
where?
and then
Oh, even you?
Susan.
well, my parents lived in Nepal and India.
Susan.
My mom used to. My mom started this organization called the Stewardess
Someone's
Program
calling for
back in the
Susan.
late 50s.
Yeah, I'm calling for Susan. Susan.
Southeast Asia, and she was stationed in Darjeeling. And then my dad was a zoologist.
How will I know which one? Anybody have an idea?
And then I went to relief work there. And then my
It
sister.
should say on top of her head, but sometimes
Susan.
This person has a blank name. My full name is Jai
Who's
Matthew
this?
Jung Bahadur
The floating.
Mitchell. So it was named after
Susan, are you there?
friends. This guy named
Hi,
Jai.
Dinesh. How you doing?
So
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
yeah, no, I love India.
Doing well,
I haven't
doing
been there
well.
in a while, but hope to get back. Yeah.
So, what brings you here? Do you have a gallery, or are you just here to
No,
enjoy the festivities?
I work for ArtGet, so I'm just doing live video right now. So you're live.
Ah, you said I'm live?
Yeah.
Oh wow, how do I? Let's see how I can.
No, actually, I'm doing live, so you're on live right now.
Oh, okay. I'm with you on live. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like I remember going on live. Cool. That's very awesome.
Okay. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
His name is Danish.
Take care.
You too.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna go check him out. All right,
Awesome.
we'll see you. Oh, there's
See you.
Dinesh.
Okay.
Hey,
Oh,
hi.
Dinesh is here only.
Hi.
Hey,
Dinesh,
namaste,
me.
Dinesh.
Hi.
Nepali.
What? Hi. Hi, Jay.
Hey, मेरा नाम जय जंग बहादुर हो. So,
Oh my God, are you from Nepal?
no, I'm American, but I can speak Ali Ali. My parents got married in Nepal, and they lived there. Where I was born, so
Oh, okay. I mean, what's your full name?
मेरा नाम जय जंग बहादुर हो. Jay
Oh.
Jung Bahadur Mitchell.
Oh, wow, amazing. Kusi lage thi-
Yeah, so I learned to speak a tiny bit. I was there. I've been to Nepal 4 times, and one time I was there for about 6 months. So, you know, I learned to speak a little. I'd love to learn more, but
Oh, wow,
So-
Jay. You speak really well.
it's fun. I really love the language. So, and Happy New Year.
Oh, Happy New Year. So I'll definitely
Yeah.
get connected with you in LinkedIn. So I work
Yeah.
for the Art Gate.
Yeah.
I guess Chanel just mentioned that, and definitely will be in touch.
Yeah, I told him.
Excellent. Yeah. Right on, man.
Kusi-
Where did you live in Nepal?
I live in Kathmandu.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, that's amazing, man.
Yeah, nice
Um,
to meet you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to meet with my friend I think on Sunday we're going to get some momos and celebrate
Oh my
New Year.
God,
So.
do you love momos?
Oh, that's my favorite.
Oh my God, yeah, mine too.
Dairy
I
mito cha, yeah.
yeah, there are meat, and I cook a lot of momos, especially on weekends, and I just
Oh, you do?
yeah, I do.
Did Boise Masu or?
Boysiको मासु त पाउँदैन यहाँ क्यानाडामा, so I usually make chicken.
Oh yeah, kukra. Was
Yeah,
that kukra? Kukra Masu. Yeah.
Kukrako masu. Oh my God,
Yeah.
this is so good. Like I'm meeting someone like who knows Nepalese language. I mean, this
Yeah.
is
Yeah, I'm not. I don't check LinkedIn too much, but I'm on Instagram. It's
okay. Are you?
Mitchell Jai. I have a show in the LEJ tomorrow, so.
Oh yeah, I'll be there tomorrow. And
Cool.
are you connected with Sorry, are you connected with Artgate in Instagram?
Yep. I'm on there with I'm friends with Brendan and everybody there. So.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I don't have my personal account, but I am a food blogger, so I'll be just following you from my food account. Okay.
Oh, that's awesome.
That you said a
Cool,
J.
man.
You said a J, right?
Yeah, the Instagram is Mitchell MITCHELL and then JAI.
Okay, I just got it.
yeah, and then yeah, and I'm working with Ali J. She's my my agent who put this together. So
Oh, that's so
yeah,
amazing, Jay. तेरे खुशी
yeah, man, it's
लाग्यो.
really cool. No, I always love meeting Nepali so I can practice the Ali that I know. So, but I
अलिअलि
had such amazing times there.
अलिअलि
I
बोलेरै
remember,
sorry.
yeah, I remember a little bit of Resum Fury and
Oh yeah, that's a
so
really famous song.
yeah, that was my favorite
Oh my
last time
god,
when I was there. So yeah,
this is so amazing. When
cool.
was
Then I'm gonna hop in to find Ali.
okay?
But
Sure,
great to meet you.
great to meet
And
you.
yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I'll
Okay,
see you
yeah,
tomorrow.
yeah,
Okay.
definitely connect with me.
Okay,
Cool.
sure.
Now, are
Okay.
you in Canada now, or where
Yeah,
are
I'm
you
in
based?
Canada right now.
Cool. Right on, man.
Okay.
Yeah, I hope to get up there when all the COVID stuff is done.
Sure,
So
definitely,
yeah,
definitely. Okay, I'll see you
cool.
tomorrow in
Right
the
on.
gallery. Okay.
Okay, great to meet you, Dinesh.
Okay. Bye bye.
Okay.
Shivaratri.
I'll be.
Sivaratri. Daniel.
This is so cool. So
Yeah.
Dinesh, you made a new contact. How
Oh
do you feel
yeah.
about that?
I feel happy, and so I'm gonna end the live for today. So we are almost done.
Oh,
So yeah, I'll see you in a bit. Okay. Let me end the live.
okay, you're still live. Wow.